The explosion rocked the mining station hard enough to shatter Kai Reeves' concentration and send his diagnostic tools scattering across the hangar floor. Warning lights flashed crimson as the emergency containment protocols engaged. "What the hell was that?" he muttered, abandoning the half-repaired intake valve. The station's AI responded with mechanical calm. "Perimeter breach in Sector 7. Unknown vessel has forcibly docked. Security protocols activated." Kai cursed under his breath. He wasn't security personnel, just a contract engineer sent to upgrade the station's outdated fusion systems. The corporation had assured him this remote outpost was safe despite being on the edge of contested space. They'd been wrong. The station trembled again as something heavy struck the hull nearby. Kai ducked behind a service panel, heart hammering. The hangar door slid open with a pneumatic hiss, admitting a tall, lithe figure who staggered inside before collapsing against a support strut. Not human. Definitely not human. The alien skin shimmered with a subtle iridescence, pearl white with undertones of violet that pulsed with each labored breath. Long, silver-white hair fell in intricate braids around a face that seemed almost too perfectly symmetrical to be real. Despite her wounded state, she carried herself with unmistakable authority. A spreading stain of midnight blue blood seeped through the silvery armor hugging her torso. "Help me," she managed in strangely accented English, eyes finding Kai in his hiding place. "They are coming." As if on cue, a mechanical roar echoed through the corridor beyond. Mercenaries, pirates, or worse, Kai didn't care to find out. Making a split-second decision that would change the course of his life forever, he darted toward the wounded alien. "I need to get you somewhere safe," he said, helping her to her feet. "The name is Talia," she hissed through clenched teeth as he supported her weight. "Princess Talia of House Astralaria." Kai nearly dropped her. "Princess? What are you doing on a mining station in the middle of nowhere?" "Diplomatic mission. Ambushed." Her words faltered as pain overwhelmed her. Using his engineer's knowledge of the station's layout, Kai half-carried Talia through a maintenance shaft toward the medical bay. The sounds of pursuit grew distant, then faded completely. "You know basic field medicine?" he asked, easing her onto an examination table. Talia shook her head. "My physiology. Different. But the wound." She guided his hands to a particular spot on her armor. "Press here." Following her instructions, Kai applied pressure while fumbling for the medical kit. The princess's breathing steadied as something in her armor released a cooling agent into the wound. "You have saved my life, human," she said, her violet eyes fixing on his with unsettling intensity. "I am now bound to you by the ancient laws of my people." "Look, I'm just an engineer," Kai replied, attempting to clean the blue-tinged wound. "No binding necessary. Anyone would have helped." Talia's lips curved into what might have been a smile. "So humble. It confirms what I sensed about you." She reached up with surprising strength, gripping his wrist. "I, Princess Talia of the Royal House of Astralaria, invoke the right of Stelvaren." The words seemed to shimmer in the air between them, and Kai felt an odd tingle course through his body. "What did you just do?" he asked, suddenly wary. "I have bonded us," she explained matter-of-factly. "It is the only way to repay a life debt among my people. We are now joined in the eyes of the Celestial Court." "Joined? You mean like?" Kai's eyes widened as understanding dawned. "Your Earth term would be marriage," Talia confirmed, strength visibly returning as her self-healing abilities activated. "Though among my people, it is so much more." "That's not possible," Kai sputtered. "You can't just—" The station's alarms blared again, cutting him off. Talia sat up, suddenly alert. "Those are my royal guards," she said. "They found us." Before Kai could process what was happening, the door to the medical bay slid open, revealing 3 tall, armored figures with the same iridescent skin as Talia. "Your Highness," the lead guard said, bowing deeply. "We feared the worst." "I live, thanks to this human," Talia replied, gesturing toward Kai. "He is now bonded to me through Stelvaren." The guard's expression shifted from relief to shock, then to a strange reverence as they turned toward Kai. "The Empress will want to meet him immediately," the lead guard said. Kai felt the floor dropping out from beneath him. "Empress? Wait, I'm not going anywhere. I have a contract here, and then I'm heading back to Earth." Talia's hand found his, her touch electric. "The stars have chosen a different path for you, Kai Reeves. You are now part of something far greater than you could imagine." Looking into her alien eyes, Kai suddenly realized his life would never be the same. Retriclod can make mistakes. Please double-check responses. The royal transport ship glided through the auroral atmosphere of Astralaria, its crystalline spires and floating citadels coming into view as they descended. Kai pressed his hand against the viewport, mesmerized by the alien world that was apparently now his home. Beautiful, isn't it? Princess Talia asked, fully recovered thanks to her species' remarkable healing abilities. Her iridescent skin gleamed in the light of the twin suns. Breathtaking, Kai admitted. But I still don't understand why I'm here. This bonding thing. There must be a way to satisfy the ceremony without me actually staying. Talia's expression softened. The Stelvarin is not merely ceremony, Kai. It is woven into the very essence of our beings now. She touched the faint mark that had appeared on his wrist, matching one on her own. Our royal bloodlines have weakened over generations. The Empress has long sought new genetic paths for our evolution. So what? A breeding experiment. Kai tried to mask his alarm. You are a gift from the cosmos, Talia replied, unfazed. The first human to bond with Astralarian royalty. My action was impulsive, yes, but perhaps guided by forces greater than us both. The ship docked at a floating platform extending from the central palace. A structure of impossible architecture, all sweeping arcs and suspended chambers connected by bridges of light. A delegation awaited them, led by a statuesque woman whose silver-white hair was elaborately styled with shimmering gemstones. Her gown seemed to flow like liquid starlight around her tall frame. The Queen Regent Mira, Talia whispered. My mother. Kai straightened his earth-made jacket, suddenly conscious of how alien he must appear to them. So this is the human who saved my daughter. Queen Mira's voice was melodious but carried unmistakable authority. Her eyes, deep violet like Talia's, scrutinized him with scientific precision. Approach, Kai Reeves of Earth. He stepped forward, unsure whether to bow or shake hands. Queen Mira solved his dilemma by placing her palms against his temples, her touch cool and electric. Fascinating, she murmured. Your mind patterns are compatible. Perhaps Talia's impulsiveness will prove fortunate after all. Your Majesty, Kai began cautiously, I think there's been a misunderstanding about this bonding. There is no misunderstanding, interrupted a new voice, deeper and resonant with power. The Stelvarin is absolute. The delegation parted to reveal an even more imposing figure, taller than the others, with skin that seemed to contain shifting galaxies beneath its surface. The Empress Selene herself, wearing a crown of what appeared to be captured starlight. Empress, everyone murmured, bowing deeply. Kai hastily followed suit. Rise, human, Empress Selene commanded. You have become part of the Astralarian constellation. Do you understand what this means? Not entirely, Your Majesty, Kai admitted. When one bonds with an Astralarian royal, the bond extends to our entire lineage, she explained, circling him with predatory grace. It is how we strengthen our genetic diversity while maintaining our celestial heritage. Kai's eyes widened. You mean I'm married to all of you? Marriage is your limited concept, Queen Mira interjected. The Stelvarin is a biological, spiritual, and political union. You are now bound to House Astralaria itself, to Talia directly, but to all of us by extension. The royal bloodline must continue, Empress Selene stated matter-of-factly. Your genetic material offers valuable new potentials. You will sire the next generation of our rulers. Kai felt lightheaded. And if I refuse? The temperature seemed to drop several degrees as the Empress's gaze hardened. The bond cannot be broken. It would slowly kill both you and Princess Talia. Talia stepped closer to him, her expression both apologetic and determined. I would not have chosen this timing, but I do not regret the bond. Kai, there is purpose in our meeting. Before Kai could respond, a commotion erupted at the far end of the platform. A group of armor-clad warriors approached, led by a fierce-looking female with battle scars visible on her iridescent skin. My sisters have arrived, Talia sighed, including General Vex. The warrior at the front glared at Kai with open suspicion. This is the human who has ensnared our princess? He looks soft, breakable. He saved my life. Vex, Talia replied sharply. Then he should prove his worth in the arena. General Vex challenged, hand resting on the hilt of her weapon. As tradition demands. Enough, Queen Mira commanded. The human will have time to adjust before facing the trials. But Kai could see the expectation in all their eyes, even Talia's. He was no warrior, but somehow he would need to earn his place in this alien dynasty. As they led him into the palace, through corridors of impossible beauty and ancient power, Kai caught the Empress watching him with particular interest. "Your chambers will adjoin Princess Talia's," Queen Mira informed him. "Tomorrow, we begin your integration into Astralarian society." "And what exactly does that entail?" Kai asked. Talia squeezed his hand reassuringly. "Learning our ways, our history, our biology." She hesitated. "And eventually, fulfilling your role in continuing our lineage." Kai looked around at the alien royal family that had suddenly become his own, the calculating queen, the mysterious empress, the warrior sisters, and the princess who had bound their fates together. Earth seemed very far away indeed. The training chamber echoed with the clash of practice weapons and the harsh breathing of combatants. Kai wiped sweat from his brow, muscles screaming in protest. 2 weeks of Astralarian physical conditioning had pushed him to his limits and beyond. "Again," commanded General Vex, circling him with predatory grace. "A royal consort must demonstrate strength." Kai lifted the practice staff, attempting to mirror her stance. "On Earth, engineers demonstrate strength by building things that don't break." Vex's lips twitched in what might have been amusement. "Here, we test what breaks and what is not." She lunged forward, her staff connecting with his ribs despite his attempt to block. Kai stumbled back, wheezing. "Point taken. You learn slowly, human," Vex observed, though her tone held less disdain than when they'd begun. "But you persist. That counts for something." From the observation platform above, Princess Talia watched with her sisters, Novia, the royal strategist, and twins Eridani and Kisara. Their whispered commentary drifted down to him. "His form is terrible," Kisara remarked. "But his adaptability is remarkable," countered Novia. "Notice how he adjusts his technique after each failure." Talia's defense was more personal. "He survived a mercenary attack and saved my life. His worth is already proven." "The arena will decide," Eridani stated firmly. "As it always has." Kai had quickly learned that the arena wasn't just metaphorical. Tomorrow, he would face a ritual combat challenge before the entire court, a tradition for anyone joining the royal bloodline. Failure wouldn't mean death, but it would mean permanent diminishment of status. An unworthy consort. "Enough for today," Vex declared, offering him a hand up after her final strike had put him on his back. "Rest. Tomorrow you face the Galaxies." "The what now?" Kai asked, accepting her help to stand. "A ceremonial opponent," she explained cryptically. "One that will test not just your strength, but your essence." Later, soaking in the healing pools that eased his battered body, Kai was surprised by a visitor. The Empress herself glided into the chamber, dismissing her attendants with a gesture. "Your Majesty," Kai acknowledged, suddenly conscious of his state of undress beneath the luminescent waters. "You intrigue me, Kai Reeves," Empress Celine said, seating herself at the pool's edge. Up close, her skin was even more remarkable. Galaxies seemed to swirl beneath its surface, stars being born and dying in microcosm. Most would have demanded return to their homeworld by now. "Would that request have been granted?" he asked. Her smile was enigmatic. "No." "Then I'm adapting," Kai said simply. "It's what humans do best." "Indeed." She traced patterns in the water with otherworldly grace. "I have observed your training. You cannot match Astralarian strength or speed. Thanks for the vote of confidence. Yet you possess something our warriors do not," she continued, ignoring his sarcasm. "Problem-solving creativity. Ingenuity. Use it tomorrow." Kai studied her, trying to read the ancient being before him. "Why help me?" Vex said this was about proving worth. "It is." The Empress rose in one fluid motion. "But your worth may lie in qualities my people have forgotten. Show them tomorrow." Morning arrived with ceremonial fanfare. The arena, a circular platform suspended over a vast chamber within the palace, was surrounded by the entire court. Kai entered wearing the lightweight armor Talia had provided, trying to ignore the murmurs of the crowd. Queen Mira presided from her elevated seat, Empress Celine beside her in silent observation. Talia and her sisters watched from a royal alcove, their expressions revealing nothing. "Kai Reeves of Earth," the queen announced. "You face the Galactic challenge to prove your worthiness as consort to the royal line. Begin." A panel slid open in the arena floor, and Kai expected a fearsome warrior to emerge. Instead, a small crystalline device floated up, pulsing with energy. "That's it," he whispered. His relief was short-lived. The device suddenly expanded, projecting a field of energy that took the form of a massive, shifting opponent, part beast, part warrior, made entirely of responsive energy. The Galactic reads your capabilities and adapts to challenge them. General Vex called from the sidelines. It will exploit every weakness. As if to demonstrate, the energy being struck with lightning speed, knocking Kai across the platform. He barely rolled to safety before a second blow cracked the floor where he'd been. Conventional combat wasn't going to work. The creature matched his movements with increasing speed, learning his patterns. An engineer's mind, Kai thought, remembering the Empress's words. What would an engineer do? He studied the floating crystal core generating the energy being. Every attack pattern emanated from there, following predictable waveforms. It was, essentially, a complex machine, and machines had exploitable parameters. Dodging another attack, Kai abruptly charged directly at the energy being instead of away from it. The unexpected move created a momentary lag in its response, just enough for Kai to slide beneath the creature and reach its crystalline heart. "Sorry about this," he muttered, pressing his hands against the device and sending his body into a deliberate convulsion. The electrical impulses from his nervous system, alien to the device's calibration, created feedback. The energy being flickered, its form destabilizing as Kai maintained contact, ignoring the painful energy coursing through him. With a harmonic whine, the Galactic collapsed back into its core form, dropping to the platform with Kai. Silence fell over the arena. Then, unexpectedly, General Vex began to laugh, a sound of genuine appreciation. "The human defeated the Galactic with his own weakness," she announced, using his inferior biology as a weapon. Queen Mira rose, her expression calculating. Unconventional, but effective. The challenge is met. As attendants helped Kai to his feet, he caught Princess Talia's radiant smile, the approving nods of her sisters, and most surprisingly, a look of satisfaction from the Empress herself. But not everyone seemed pleased. Among the court observers, several nobles exchanged dark glances. One in particular, a tall aristocrat with ceremonial military insignia, watched Kai with thinly veiled contempt. "Who's that?" Kai asked Talia when she rushed to his side. "Lord Commander Orion," she whispered. "He had hoped to bond with one of us himself. You have disrupted many plans." Kai sighed. "Of course I have." He had passed one test, but the real challenge was just beginning. He had become a piece on a political game board he barely understood, with players who had been strategizing for centuries. The royal gardens of Astralaria defied Earth's understanding of botany. Bioluminescent flowers traced constellations in their blooming patterns. Floating arbors drifted in gentle formation, their roots suspended in nutrient mists. It was here that Kai found momentary peace, 3 months into his new life. "You're adapting well," observed Princess Talia, finding him beneath a canopy of star-shaped blossoms. "Much better than I expected." Kai smiled as she sat beside him on the crystalline bench. Their relationship had evolved from awkward formality to genuine companionship. Engineers are practical people. When blueprints change, we adjust the design. "Is that all this is to you? A technical adjustment?" Talia asked, her iridescent fingers intertwining with his. "No," he admitted, feeling the gentle pulse of their bonding marks synchronizing. "It's become something more." Her violet eyes held his, and Kai felt the now familiar electricity between them. What had begun as an accidental bonding had deepened into something neither had anticipated. When she leaned in to kiss him, her lips carried the faint taste of starlight. "The court whispers that you've enchanted me," she murmured against his ear. "Pretty sure it's the other way around." Kai traced the delicate patterns on her skin, marveling at how alien yet familiar she had become to him. Their moment of intimacy was interrupted by the arrival of Queen Mira, accompanied by royal physicians. "Your genetic compatibility analyses are complete," the Queen announced without preamble. "Most promising. The royal lineage will benefit tremendously from your contribution." Kai still hadn't adjusted to the Astralarians' clinical approach to reproduction. "Don't I get a say in the timing of contributions?" "Of course," Queen Mira replied, though her tone suggested his input was merely a formality. "Talia has first claim, naturally, but the royal sisters must also be considered. Genetic diversity is paramount." Talia squeezed his hand reassuringly. "Mother, perhaps this discussion could wait." "Time doesn't wait, daughter. Especially with threats gathering." The Queen's gaze shifted meaningfully toward the palace, where Lord Commander Orion had been consolidating support among the military elite. Later that evening, during the Celestial Alignment celebration, Kai navigated the complex social hierarchies of the court with growing confidence. He had learned to recognize the subtle indicators of rank in jewelry and attire, to perform the ritualistic greetings, and to avoid the most obvious cultural taboos. "You move like one of us now," came a resonant voice behind him. Empress Selene, resplendent in a gown that seemed woven from the night sky itself. "An illusion, Your Majesty," Kai replied with the customary deference. "I'm still very much human. That is precisely what makes you valuable." She gestured for him to walk with her, a distinction that drew every eye in the grand hall. "Come, I would show you something." She led him through restricted corridors to an ancient chamber, the heart of Astralaria, where a pulsing crystalline structure channeled energy throughout the floating citadels. "Our civilization's power source," Kai breathed, his engineer's mind immediately cataloging the incredible technology. "And our greatest vulnerability," the Empress confided. "It requires renewal that only new genetic patterns can provide." Understanding dawned. "That's why the bonding is so important to your people. It's not just about royal bloodlines, it's survival." "You see clearly for an outsider." The Empress moved closer, her cosmic presence overwhelming. "Your union with Talia was fortuitous, but incomplete." "Incomplete," Kai echoed, suddenly aware of the increasing gravity between them. "The Stelvaran bond requires completion through union with the primary lineages." Her hand brushed his cheek, leaving trails of stardust sensation. "Including mine." The implications left Kai speechless. The attraction he felt toward the Empress was both terrifying and undeniable, like being drawn into the orbit of a celestial body. "Your Majesty, Selene," she corrected, her ancient eyes holding knowledge beyond his comprehension. "When we are alone, I am Selene." The moment was shattered by an urgent alarm echoing through the chamber. The heart. The Empress pulled away, her focus shifting to the crystalline structure, which had begun to pulse erratically. "It's being tampered with." Kai's engineering instincts took over. "Someone's disrupting the power harmonics. If they succeed." Astralaria falls. Her expression hardened. "This is Orion's move." Racing through the palace corridors, they found Princess Talia and General Vex already mobilizing defenses. "Saboteurs in the power core," Vex reported. "Wearing royal guard insignia, but not our people." "Orion's faction," Talia confirmed. "He's made his attempt to overthrow the Empress while simultaneously courting me as a political alliance." Kai processed this with growing alarm. "You never mentioned that part." "I rejected him," Talia said firmly, "as did all my sisters. That's when he began plotting this coup." "The heart will destabilize within hours," the Empress stated. "And our defenses with it." Kai examined the emergency schematics. "I might be able to counteract the sabotage, but I'd need direct access to the core systems." "Too dangerous," Talia protested. "The radiation." "We'll kill an Astralarian instantly," General Vex finished. "But perhaps a human." Their eyes all turned to Kai. "Your physiological differences might allow you to survive long enough," the Empress acknowledged. "But the risk is necessary," Kai stated simply. "I've become part of this family. I'll protect it." As they prepared for his dangerous mission, Talia pulled him aside, her eyes glistening with emotion. "I did not bring you into this world to lose you," she whispered fiercely. "You won't," Kai promised, kissing her with unexpected passion. "I'm only beginning to understand what we could be together." The Empress approached as Talia reluctantly joined her sisters to coordinate the palace defense. "Your courage honors us," Kai Reeves, Selene said, placing her palms against his temples in the royal blessing. The contact sent waves of cosmic awareness through him, strengthening their growing bond. "When I return," Kai said with newfound confidence, "we have much to discuss." "Selene." Her ancient eyes held both promise and mystery. "Indeed we do." As Kai prepared to enter the radiation-filled core, he realized how completely his life had transformed. From solitary engineer to the center of an alien royal family's future, and now, perhaps their salvation. The destiny he never wanted had become the one he would fight to protect. The radiation core blazed with energy that would have instantly killed an Astralarian. For Kai, it was merely excruciating. His human physiology, while more resistant to the particular radiation frequency, still screamed in protest as he worked to reverse the sabotage to the heart of Astralaria. "Systems recalibrating," he reported through the communication device, his voice strained. 60% restored. "You must reach at least 85% for stabilization." The Empress's voice replied, tension evident despite her usual composure. Outside, the battle for the palace raged. Lord Commander Orion's forces had breached the outer defenses, and now Princess Talia and General Vex led the counterattack, while Queen Mira coordinated from the command center. Kai's fingers moved with practiced precision despite the pain, rerouting power channels and purging the invasive commands that had corrupted the system. His engineering knowledge, combined with months of studying Astralarian technology, gave him insights even the royal technicians lacked. 90%, he announced as the heart's pulsing stabilized. That should hold, but I need to. A violent tremor shook the chamber as something exploded nearby. Kai was thrown against the control panel, feeling ribs crack on impact. Kai. Talia's voice cut through the communication static. Orion's forces breached the lower sanctum. They're heading for the heart. You must get out. But the door mechanism had fused in the explosion. Kai was trapped, with both radiation and enemies closing in. Go. Talia, he ordered, making a quick decision. Protect the Empress. I'll finish here. Working through the pain, Kai implemented a desperate plan. If he couldn't escape, he would ensure the heart of Astralaria remained protected. Routing all emergency systems through the core, he created a feedback loop that would make tampering impossible without complete knowledge of his improvised configuration. The chamber door buckled as Orion's forces attempted to breach it. It's done, Kai reported. The heart is secure. They can't shut it down now without the bypass codes, which only I know. Hold position, General Vex commanded. We're fighting through to you. But Kai could hear the sounds of battle intensifying. They wouldn't reach him in time. Then, unexpectedly, the temperature in the chamber began to drop. Frost formed on the control panels as a strange calm descended. Through the viewing port, Kai saw corridor lights failing as Orion's forces suddenly retreated in apparent panic. The chamber door slid open, but instead of enemy soldiers, the Empress herself stood in the threshold, her form radiating cold starlight. She had shed her regal appearance for something more primal, her true form as a celestial being. Selene, Kai breathed, understanding now why the Astralarians revered her as semi-divine. She moved to him with impossible grace, her touch immediately soothing his radiation burns and injured ribs. You have proven worthy beyond measure, she said, her voice resonating at multiple frequencies simultaneously. And in doing so, completed the bond that Talia began. Around them, the heart of Astralaria pulsed in perfect harmony with both their biorhythms, creating a synchronized triad, Kai, Talia, and Selene. By the time they emerged from the core, the coup had been crushed. Lord Commander Orion knelt in defeat before Queen Mira and the royal sisters, his supporters already being led away. Your fate is sealed, traitor, Queen Mira pronounced. Exile to the void moons. Princess Talia rushed to Kai, embracing him with fierce relief. You did it. We all did, he corrected, looking around at the royal family that had become his own. 3 cycles later, as Astralaria's twin sons aligned in rare conjunction, Kai stood before the assembled court as his status was officially elevated. No longer just a consort, but royal consort prime, a position created specifically to acknowledge his unique place in their society. From this day forward, Empress Selene proclaimed, the human Kai Reeves stands as equal partner in the stellar dynasty. His bloodline joins with ours to forge a new future for Astralaria. The ceremony culminated in a ritual not seen for 10,000 years, the binding of 3. As Talia and the Empress joined hands with Kai, their combined energy signature registered throughout the planetary system, announcing the new alliance to all Astralarian colonies. Later, in the private royal chambers, Kai found himself reflecting on the incredible journey from Earth engineer to alien royalty. Having second thoughts? Princess Talia asked, joining him at the viewport overlooking the crystalline capital. No, he said truthfully. Just wondering what my old colleagues would say if they could see me now. They would not understand, the Empress observed, entering silently. In private, she had begun showing a softer side that few ever witnessed. The bond we share transcends human conception. Kai smiled as the 2 extraordinary women, his wives by Astralarian law, joined him in watching the sunset create rainbow fractals through the floating citadels. 6 months ago, I was repairing mining equipment and planning my return to Earth, he mused. Now I'm helping guide an alien civilization and apparently fathering the next generation of cosmic royalty. Talia laughed, the sound like crystal chimes. The universe has strange paths for us all. In the strangest paths, the Empress added with uncharacteristic warmth, often lead to the most wondrous destinations. As the three of them stood together, bound by forces beyond conventional understanding, Kai realized he had found something he never knew he was seeking, not just passion or power, but purpose. His human perspective was already changing Astralarian society, introducing innovations and adaptations that centuries of tradition had overlooked. The royal physician confirmed it today, Talia revealed suddenly, placing her hand over her abdomen. Our genetic patterns have successfully merged. Kai's eyes widened in wonder. You mean, the first human Astralarian child will be born when the twin moons align, the Empress confirmed. A new branch of the stellar dynasty begins. Whatever life Kai had planned for himself was gone, replaced by something far more extraordinary. As he embraced his alien family, he felt no regret for the world he'd left behind, only anticipation for the universe that now lay before him. The engineer who had once fixed broken machines had found his greatest purpose in helping forge connections between worlds, and in the process, discovered that sometimes the most unexpected bonds become the most unbreakable.